welcome back to my channel. My name is Dani Rios for those that don't know me, and today we are going to talk about all things blogging, how I started my brand, how to really be a successful blogger. I truly genuinely want to help everyone if this is like their dream, if this is really what they want to do, but also I'm going to be very real with you guys, and I'm going to share everything that I've learned in the past 4 years of blogging and making it my full-time career. So if you guys are ready for this video, let's do it. So I actually already have another video kind of talking about my blogging story and how I started. So I'm just gonna briefly touch it really quick. I started my blog because I really wanted to work at a fashion magazine, and I started it just because my friend believed in me. He said, like, you know, people look up to you for your fashion advice, beauty advice, so you might as well write about all these stuff on a blog. So, you know, I asked my grandma for some money. She invested in me. She believed in me. I got my website done. I was researching, you know, things that bloggers do, how to make money, stuff like that. Like, literally didn't have anyone, did this all on my own, and I kind of just started to do what I thought bloggers did, which was like post pictures on Instagram, write some informational stuff, lead them to my blog, and like hopefully I was like, people are looking at this, people are seeing it. But I think genuinely at the beginning I was so scared, but I did it anyway, and so it was a hot mess for a very long time until I moved to Dallas. I moved to Dallas because I actually ended up getting a job. I started working for that company, but I remember that as soon as I moved back to Dallas, I was very passionate about my blog, and I feel like it was taking me somewhere. I didn't know where yet, but I felt like it genuinely was leading me to something great, and I actually really believed in it. So while I was working this corporate job, the money I would make, I would try to invest it back into my blog, whether that was through photography and paying a photographer to take really cool pictures of me, whether that was like buying clothes to shoot and stuff like that. I just remember being very proactive about making sure that the money I made through my corporate job was being invested in my blog, which is ultimately something that was mine, something that was becoming a business, you know. And I didn't know it was gonna become a business, but I felt very passionate about it, so I wanted to put my best work into it. I wanted to make my blog look awesome. I remember I paid to get my website redone. I paid for a new logo. Like, I just wanted to look legit. And so that's kind of how I started. I remember starting to really collaborate with a lot of people, and I think collaborations as a whole, and partnerships, have so much to say about it. But for me, just thinking about it like business wise, like if a random person is trying to come up to me and they're like, hey, I can promote your product, I can do this and that, then I'm like, okay, cool, but your word means nothing to me because I literally do not know you. And it's more about showing examples, showing, you know, numbers, showing data. Like, you have to treat your blog as like a legit business. And, you know, if you're trying to reach out to a company, like, don't just be like, hey, I can give you a lot of followers and exposure. They're like, great, but what do you, like, what's so cool about your brand? And so for me, I feel like I started doing a lot of beauty at the beginning because that's what I've always been passionate about. And I remember I wanted to reach out to a med spa so I could get lip filler, and I remember sending them like a link to a YouTube video. I told them, this is what I'll be doing. I'll do a really cool YouTube video about the whole thing. I sent them a link to a blog post. I also told them that I would do a blog post and do like a few Instagram pictures for them, and they were thrilled. They were like, oh, okay, this girl, like, she has really cool content, yeah, let's work with her. And I think that's what got me to work with a lot of people, was just like my content and me showing like, okay, this is my work. Would you like to work with me? And I always put the best content out there that I could, so people could see that I was like legit and people would want to work with me. And so I think that's very important even nowadays. Like, just try to have the best content and have examples of what your work looks like. If you don't have examples of what your work looks like, people are not going to want to partner up with you because they're like, well, I have no idea what this video you're talking about would look like because you have nothing on your YouTube channel showing me that, you know what I mean? If I try to charge people for IGTV videos, I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll just charge you for an IGTV video. I feel like I have to showcase work, and I probably have to do a lot of free IGTV videos first so these people can see what that's gonna look like. So same thing with blogs. Like, you can just write blogs just for fun. Once you feel like you have really good content, then you can send all your blog posts as examples, as well as sending data of like how many views you get on your page, how many many people watch your videos on YouTube, stuff like that. I think when you are reaching out, you have to be very humble and you have to be not trying to make people work with you. I just think if they genuinely don't want to work with you, then they don't, and you just move on. I think what's very important too is like bloggers need to realize that it's really all about a relationship, and it's not just about like what you can give me and what I can take from you and then I'll just do like a little mediocre Instagram story about it. It's really about genuinely connecting with like a company or a brand, knowing about it, partnering up with them, especially if this is going to be something that you're going to keep posting about throughout, you know, a long period of time. Like for example, my hair colorist Carlos, he had reached out and he said he really liked my content, and he was like, yeah, you know, I usually don't do this, but I really like your content, I really like your vibe, come in and get your hair done. And I was like shook, because I literally wanted to go blonde so bad, and it was just like the perfect timing that he came in and he did my hair. And I remember just being so grateful that he had done it, that I wanted to do like YouTube videos, blog posts for him. Like I genuinely wanted to help him because he was helping me and he was giving me this free service. So I think bloggers should always look at it that way, where it's like if someone is like genuinely going out of their way to give you like this stuff, you know, be grateful, and then also try to give back as much as they, you know, gave you. And also it's like, it really sometimes, I mean, I know it is about the money, but sometimes it's not. Like sometimes you genuinely just have to build friendships and build relationships with people, and thinking about your audience and those relationships that you're you know, those companies that you're partnering up with, and genuinely helping both, helping the company brand and also helping your audience followers grow by like providing really great content and information that they're going to use in their daily life. So that is kind of just like my collaboration rant right there. I think one very important thing to have as a blogger influencer is kind of like your community, your group of friends that are going to support you, your group of friends that you have that are also other bloggers and influencers, because they're going to get you and they are going to help you in the long run. And I feel like my friend Sierra, we help each other so much, and I'm so thankful for her in my life, because with her it's like an actual friendship, and it's not just like her hitting me up to take a picture of her or me hitting her up to take a picture of her. Like we genuinely, you know, do go and take pictures together, but then, you know, we sit down, have lunch, and we actually have a friendship outside of blogging or, you know, influencing. But I think having kind of like an ally with you, because there's a lot of people that I've met where it's like they kind of just want to be your friend, to know how you did this, how you did that. They just want to know about your contacts, they just want to know what brand you partnered up with and if they can work with that brand too. So it's very just like selfish. But with Sierra, I just never felt that. Like it's always been a friendship. But I do love knowing that now we can like talk about business, and it's like, you know, if she partnered up with a brand and, you know, she made really good money from that, then she's able to tell me like, hey, they have a really big budget, charge this or that. And so I'll email them and like kind of negotiate, you know, right then and there. But if it wasn't for her telling me that, I would have totally lowballed myself, and when I could have gotten a bigger budget. So I think you have to look at your blog as a business sometimes. Yeah, it's not all about the money. Like when you are building a business, it's all about your product, the passion that you have behind your product, and like genuinely making something that, yes, it's profitable, but you are helping people, or you do have a big passion behind whatever it is that you're selling. So same thing with your blog. It's like you do have to have a passion for your audience, like a passion for whatever it is that your niche is, but at the same time you do have to think about it as a business, because obviously if you're trying to live off of your blog, it's like you have to be very smart and very savvy about when it comes to dealing with contracts and negotiating and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad that she's in my corner, because we can go back and forth. Having a community where you can talk amongst yourselves about, you know, what worked for them, what didn't work. It's very helpful. It's like a focus group, but for free, and they're also your friends. But just make sure they are genuinely your friends and they're just not trying to use you, you know, for things. That's all I'm gonna say there. Like I was saying, it's very important for you to be very passionate about it. So from the beginning, I knew that I did not want to do fashion, like at all. It didn't seem fun to me. I was like, oh, that's a drag to be posting a million outfits like and styling things. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. So I never wanted to go down that route, even though back then. That's all I saw on Instagram was like fashion people, and like the people that did a whole bunch of fashion were the ones that were like really big. I just had like a gut feeling that I was like, you know what, I'm sure you can make money as a fashion blogger, and of course people do, but I was like, I don't know, like I'm passionate about beauty, skincare, and just like wellness and just like lifestyle, and that's what I'm gonna do. So even though it wasn't making me any money back then, I just chose to do that, and now there's tons of lifestyle bloggers and tons of brands and tons of everyday things that I get to promote that I genuinely like feel passionate about it. But I think from the very beginning you have to look at your niche, and your niche is just like what you are going to be talking about most of the time, and it can change throughout time, but I think being very focused on like what that niche is from the very beginning, I think kind of grows your audience. You know, you don't want to just say like, oh, I'm just a lifestyle blogger, because there's a million lifestyle bloggers, there's a million fashion bloggers. It's like, what is your niche and what makes you stand out above all the other bloggers? And I think for me it was more at the beginning it was just I don't know what it was at the beginning but I learned, and then later on I realized like, oh, people genuinely like that I'm from Dallas and that I'm always posting about like the coolest new place in Dallas. And that was kind of just like an organic segue of what I like to do anyway, which is like to explore restaurants and explore new things in Dallas and be like the first one to be there before it even opens. So people saw that I would always go to all these spots, and I saw that that's what people wanted and people liked. So I ended up kind of making that my thing, like, okay, I'm going to be posting about all things Dallas and all of this, and at the same time showcasing a little bit of who I am as a, you know, I'm Mexican, and when I visit Mexico City I want to post about that and just like traditions. And I think out of nowhere, like I was never thinking like I want to build this Latin audience, this Hispanic audience, and that's what I want to do. Like it was never that. I think it just organically transitioned into that because I am Mexican and people see me as like a Hispanic woman, and you know, they're proud of their culture. So I think I do have a lot of Latin audience just because, I don't know, they like me. But I think sometimes it's like you don't know what your audience is until you post about what you're passionate about, what it is that makes you you, and then you'll see who you attract ultimately. And I think it's awesome. But I think my biggest advice is like, have a niche, have something specific that you're going to blog about or talk about, because without that you're just gonna be lost in the ocean of all the other bloggers. So I'm trying to think of like examples. Like I have a friend that she does like Whole30 recipes, and she does really well for herself. She'll post the recipes on her blog and she gets sponsored that way, and like I think she gets tons of like views on her blog because of all the recipes, and I'm sure she's on Pinterest. Who knew that there's so many people out there that love Whole30? But there is. And so you might think like, oh my gosh, having a niche is going to limit myself and I'm just like reaching this small community of people. But you would be shocked to believe that if you have a very specific thing, you can actually have way more people than people that are like just broad and do everything. Trust and believe. So that's just a tip out there for you guys. Like if you're starting out, or like let's say you've done it for a year, 2 years, whatever, you're really not making money, like honey, you have to reevaluate yourself, rebrand, and figure out ways that you're gonna make money. Like I always have to sit down like and strategize at least every like month or so. Like what is the way that I'm trying to go? What's gonna make me money? What's new coming out? It's legit like a company. So it's like you have to know what's trending, what's not trending, what people like, what people are not liking, what new apps are out, how other people are making money. And then you have to think about, okay, what is it that I like to do and how am I gonna make that into a profit? profit. Like, I'll just give out some few examples for me, but at first I was just blogging. I kind of did YouTube videos, but I wasn't really like into it that much. And finally I was like, you know what, I am really missing out on a lot of money here on YouTube. So I was like, let me make myself a goal that I'm going to do a weekly video and just start building subscribers, and later on hopefully people will want me to do a video and I can make money that way. So that was my mindset. So I'm over here, you know, doing weekly YouTube videos, although sometimes I miss a week because I get so busy and tired and don't have time to edit, so I'll miss a week. But I did give myself a goal to do a weekly video, and I may not automatically see the reward, but it's like, I know that there's some, I mean, there has been companies that reach out to me and they want me to do a YouTube video and I can charge them. Again, like I was saying before, they have an example of my work, and so they're like, hey, we would want you to do a video. So I can charge them for that. But it's like, I had to give myself a goal that like, okay, if I do want to make money on YouTube, I have to actually start doing YouTube videos, you know? So same thing like for your blog. Like if you want to make money from your blog, start making blog posts. Of course, the first things are not going to be paid, but in the long run, companies will notice your work that you're putting into your content, into your blog, into your YouTube videos, and they'll ultimately want to reach out if they like it and work with you, and then you can charge them. You know what I mean? I just think having a brand is just so powerful, and once you know that people genuinely trust your opinion, trust what you're saying, you can really come up with clever ways to make a product, sell something that's gonna make you a profit. So for me, it was my brow kit, as you guys can see. Do you guys see my brows? Let me just stay here for a second. Yeah, so for me, it was my brow kit. So I've been doing my brows, like brow lamination, for years now, since I was in high school, and it was never like a thing in the US. Like, it just was not a thing. People would ask how I did my brows, and I was like, well, I can't explain it, because no one knew what it was. Finally, it's becoming popular. Like, I think in the last 3 months it's become popular. I see a lot of people offer it as a service in the beauty industry. People would ask me like, how do you do your brows? And I was like, you know what? People are asking genuinely, like, and wanting to know this tip, so why not sell it? And that's when I decided to make my brow kit. Whatever it is that your audience wants and your audience is asking a lot of, like, you can ultimately sell it. So for me, it was like my brow kit, and I've made good money from it. But I'm actually very passionate about it too. Same thing goes for like fitness bloggers. There's tons of fitness bloggers that sell their fitness guides, you know, fitness, whatever, like classes, videos, because it's like people want to look like you, people want to be you, people want to know your tips and tricks. And sometimes it's like, well, if people want to know so bad, why not sell it? So same thing with like Kylie Jenner. People wanted to know so bad what she would do with her lips and how she made her lips look so big. So she was like, well, let me make money off these people and start my brow kit. And like now, I'm sorry, brow kit, my lip kit. So like now she's legit like a billionaire. And I don't think this is gonna be like a sudden thing, but I think as you have a blog and if you already have a brand and you see people asking about this certain thing, then why not just like go make it and like sell it? So kind of same thing with like my presets. Everyone would always ask me like, how do you edit your pics? Your pics are so cool. How do you do this? How do you do that? And I was like, you know what? Why not just sell presets? And like, this was obviously not just my idea. Like, obviously I saw other bloggers selling presets, Lightroom presets, and I was like, you know what, why not me? And I did it, and it's made me a lot of money, and I love it. I love helping other people, also like making it easy for other people to have really cool feeds. I generally like seeing how other people use my presets. I think it's awesome, and I'm really proud of the work that Vanessa and I have done to make these presets and to make them like top-notch quality presets. They're not any kind of presets. They're really cool, very easy to work with. So if you're looking for some presets, the link will be down below. I think that's another way that you can be a very successful blogger, is by selling something that is yours, and not necessarily just waiting on sponsorships to come, or, you know, depending on businesses and companies to reach out to you and for them to pay you, when you could be making your own money with your own product. If you do have a brand, or you do have a blog, or you're an influencer, always try to think outside of Instagram because if it ever goes away, like, you want to be secure that you have something else going for you besides just you know, Instagram. Now, I really do think being nice is everything. I truly believe that. Like, I think a lot of influencers and bloggers are just like, oh, well, now I'm a celebrity. Now let me just act a fool and act so stuck up and act like the world deserves me. If it wasn't for your audience, you wouldn't have anything, okay? Honestly, like, I feel like you truly have to be nice, not only to companies, but like also to your audience, to your followers. Like, I feel like you like try to reply to as many. Obviously sometimes like you can't reply to everyone, and some people are just creepy, or some people are asking questions and I'm like, girl, I can't answer this question in a DM. That's like a video. But just like making sure that you are still being relatable and still reaching out to your audience, and you know, if they ever have questions, like, answer them, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have a blog, you wouldn't have a platform. So always be nice to the people you collaborate with, be nice to people, like if you're, you know, you do more local things, be nice to the owners of the store or whatever, because that will get you really far. And especially if you're like doing a lot of local things, like word gets around, and y'all will not believe what I've heard about people that just do one person wrong and somehow that person is connected to this person, and it's like, then they don't want to work with that person that did them wrong. But it's like, it's obvious, like you can't just go around being like this terrible person and think it's gonna be okay and think it's not gonna come and bite you in your booty, because it will. My biggest advice really for people that want to blog or have a brand is like, truly be nice to everyone. Of course, you're not gonna like have people take advantage of you, but just say it in a nice, you know, just go back and forth in a nice way, professional way. Don't be cussing people out. So now this is for the people that always ask me, like, how do you do it? I want to start a blog. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, I want to just travel, and I want to get all these free things, and just, it looks so cool. And I'm like, if that's really why you want to do this, it ain't gonna work out. I feel like, one, you can't really build an audience from that, because you are not giving anyone any value besides like being selfish. I feel like some people just post pictures of themselves and they think like posting cool pics is going to get them somewhere, which like sometimes it works, but people just kind of care about you because of your pictures, not really because of who you are or like what you're sharing, because like at the end of the day, you're not sharing anything meaningful. And so people that are always like, I just want to travel and do this, it's like, but like, how is that a brand? Or like, how is that a sustainable business? Like, I just don't understand. And like, I know obviously like there's tons of travel bloggers, but I feel like travel bloggers are really into like photography, so the images that they take are very captivating. But if you look at their captions, they're very informational, they're very, you know, deep. They talk about like actual things. I'm sure they didn't start out as like wanting to be a travel blogger, or maybe they did, but they had some kind of plan, and they had a brand to them. But I think if you're coming and you're like, I just want free things and I just want to travel and go to these events, it's like, great, but just make sure that whatever it is that you're posting about, your content is still cool, it's still informational, and it's still something that people want to see. Just make sure that like you're doing this for the right reasons. And honestly, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you're gonna burn out super quick. Trust and believe, because I feel like the only reason why I have kept going this long is because I am genuinely passionate about like sharing beauty advice, sharing a little bit about my life. I generally have always loved photography and content creation and being creative, and you know, I have kind of like a background in marketing, so I genuinely love helping businesses. If there's any way that I can help a business grow, help them get content, help them set up their Instagram account, like I'm there. Like I love doing that. So for me, it's more than just me going to events, me going to travel, me doing this and that, because like honestly, it's very exhausting. Trust me, it looks fun, but going to all these events, like sometimes I don't even have time to go to events because I have so much to do. And traveling is like, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it's exhausting. You have to pack, you have to unpack, you have to get there, you have to do all this work while you're on the trip. And it's like, if that's the only reason why you're doing it, you're gonna die. You're not going to even like get anywhere, because it's gonna be very hard for you to keep going. And especially for people that do it for the wrong reasons, I feel like you get very frustrated because you post a picture, you post a video, and you're like, crap, well, I didn't get any views, like this sucks. But if you are really passionate about it, you'll keep going, and you're going to keep creating content and creating videos because you genuinely like to do it. So someone asked me, how do I solidify my brand? Like, I've been struggling. And again, I kind of just take it back from the beginning, figure out what you're passionate about, what you want to talk about. But at the same time, I see a lot of people just like post like outfits of the day, and they're like, outfit of the day, or I don't know, they'll just say like a quote. Or that's fine to do every now and again if you have other cool content that is actually of worth. But if your audience looks at your feed and all they see is pictures, and they're not getting any kind of like substance that they can take and use during their day, during their week, then it's like, you're useless. Honestly, like, I'm just gonna say that. So like, a lot of my friends, like, their niche is like hair, so they'll do like tons of hair videos, post about hair products, they'll talk about it, they'll let you know if it's good or not. Some other people just do like affordable fashion, and they'll, they love to post the sales and stuff like that. And people follow them because they generally follow them for that kind of content. So I think that if you want to grow, have content that has substance, and don't just be posting pictures that are like so irrelevant. You're just putting like a Pinterest quote on your picture, and then you're going about your day, and that's all you, because it's like no one really cares about that. No one cares that you really got your outfit from like, Fashion Nova. Me. They care about is like, hey guys, this set is from Fashion Nova, but like, it's so comfy, you can wear it to the movies, you can wear it when you're traveling, you can wear it to go over to your boyfriend's house. Like, well, I mean, maybe not that, but you know what I mean? Like, people just want to know information. So that's kind of how you grow your audience. I also want to do like a very important topic, that growing your followers is not everything. Like, trust me, I was making way more money at 10K than people that had 50K. Trust me, like, I promise you. And I know this because people that had 40K, 50K would come to me and ask me how I was doing sponsors, how I was making money. So that's the tea. I think growing, I mean, especially now, brands and companies are looking at your audience, and this is why I'm telling you, like, just care about the people that are following you, put out content that they want to see, because the more that they feel like you are genuinely caring about them, the more they're going to support you, the more, you're relatable to them, and they're going to want to stick around. So if you feel like your audience genuinely will go buy the thing you just posted about, then you have a very loyal audience, and that's what you want to keep, and that's what you want to build towards, having a loyal audience. So it's not about having 100K, it's about having 10K of people that are literally gonna go buy the product you're posting about, or that are gonna do whatever it is that you're posting about. Follower count is not everything, so I would just say try to build more so a loyal following, and you do that by having content that they actually want to see. So that's how you grow. When companies are reaching out to you, asking you to post about them and all of this, and do 3 posts and do 3 Instagram stories and do a YouTube, like, you have to charge them a fee, because they're asking for a lot of work. And it's just like any other job, you're putting in hours of work. So of course, those hours, you have to value yourself enough to give them a rate. Be assertive in what your rate is going to be, and your rate really just depends on you. There's no, this is what you need to charge, that's what you need to charge. I think me and my friends charge, a lot. We charge more than most people, because I genuinely feel that my time and the passion and the content that I provide, and just like me taking the time to like go and shoot, like the hours that I'm putting behind this picture cost this much, that's how much I value my time. So that's gonna be my rate. So if you like it, you're gonna take it. If you don't, I'll negotiate. But if you're lowballing me, like, I'm just gonna be like, sorry, like, you're the one that's reaching out to me, I don't like necessarily like need you. So you kind of just have to think about it that way. Also, I do it because it's like, I don't want to take everything and be like, yeah, sure, I'll take that and that. It's like, only the people that can afford my audience, like, I care about my audience a lot, so only the people that can afford my audience will be able to come in. Of course, like it has to be something that I like and want to talk about. Like it's not going to be just because a brand is going to pay me a huge amount of money and it's like it goes against everything I've ever talked about. Like obviously I'm not going to post about that, but just being mindful that your blog, your brand is a business and you have to treat it as that, because if you don't, no one else is going to treat it as a brand or a business. Only you can treat it as that. So just be assertive in your rate. If you use 4Card, I think they give you kind of like standard rates, but at the end of the day, I think it's just whatever you want to charge. And like for me, I think my price has gone up because I feel like the more, like I used to burn myself out and would do a million campaigns because like I wanted to, but then it got to a point where it's like I couldn't keep up. So it's like now I only take a few campaigns that have a bigger budget, and I don't know, it's like it's more stress-free for me. I feel better about myself. I can go do fun things. I'm not stressed out all the time. So it's more like peace of mind for me, and knowing that like I can just do maybe like 4 cool sponsorships a month and I'm good, as opposed to like a million little sponsorships. And honestly, a lot of the time they'll be like, I'm sorry, we don't have a budget. When people say that to me, it's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. I'll just be like, well, thank you. Like, let me know whenever you have a budget. They see I'm not gonna just do it for free. So then they'll come back to me because they genuinely like my content, and then they're like, okay, we'll pay you. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. That brand, that company needs you. You don't necessarily need that company unless it's something that you really want. Like if I really wanted some furniture, like I probably will do that for free, you know what I mean, because they're giving me like an $800 like sofa, so the rate evens out, you know what I mean? And now I just kind of want to talk about like practical ways that you can build your blog, build your brand. Like if you already have a blog or your brand, I would say go back to the drawing board. And guys, literally, I'm not playing. I have these pads and I write things every single, I write things every Sunday on it, but like at least every month or so, I'm like brainstorming on like what new content I can do. What am I gonna do for the Christmas giveaways for 12 days of Christmas? I'm trying to think of like new YouTube video ideas, blog post ideas. Yeah, just like content, guys. It's all about the content. If you're trying to be a blogger, influencer, it's all about your content. So making sure you're updating that and you're asking your audience what they want, putting that in, you know, a notebook, scheduling out like on this day I'm gonna film, so on this day I can make my video live. On this day I'm going to go shoot a try on haul, that way I can do my blog post on that. Like that's what people want to see. So depending on what you're trying to do as a blogger or talk about, then build your content around that. Last year I wanted to make myself a goal that I really wanted to be just a little bit more in the fitness world and get protein powder and be, you know, get workout clothes, because I was like really into fitness. Like I was working out a lot. So if I want fitness companies to reach out to me, what do I have to do? Post about fitness content. And I started to do that. I would post, you know, I'm going to SoulCycle F45. I would do kind of like some nutrition tips here and there, and like slowly using my hashtags as well. And that got me a lot of wellness, health, like sponsorships, which was like really cool, and which was ultimately what I wanted. So like thinking about your goals and what you want from your blog as well is very important. That way you can kind of build towards that. It's like the content you're putting out is, you know, the sponsorships and the audience that you're gonna get back. Now, I also think traveling, it inspires you. You get to create new content that otherwise you wouldn't have if you were in your hometown stuck doing the same things, going to the same places. It's like people have seen that wall, and it's like once you do it, just don't do it again. Especially if you're very locally based. Trust and believe, everyone in Dallas, every Dallas blogger has gone to that one wall to take a picture. So be different, have different content, try to go to places that not everyone goes to. Especially nowadays, like our society is just like all about the new thing, all about the cool thing. Don't be boring, get new content. And I feel like when you travel, you get to experience a new place, you get to meet new people, you get to explore and really go out of your comfort zone and not be in like the same place that you are always at. And I think for me, like last year going to Miami so many times, like it really helped me grow. I feel like you know, my friends that I made in Miami, they're my really close friends now, and I think I grew from that because people were not seeing the same boring content in Dallas all the time. And I think ultimately that has helped me get a lot of PR brand trips, because they're like, okay, this girl goes out, she explores, she does travel guides of different places. Brands kind of see that. So I would say invest in yourself, and if you don't have the money, well, save up, try to get a better job. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't really, like, there's no magic thing. It's just like, I guess, save and then make it work. Everyone has the means to travel, but you just have to find a way. Like, you know, try to travel maybe like when it's very cheap, buy your tickets ahead of time, go to a city where you have some friends so you can stay at their home, try to reach out to restaurants so you don't have to pay for all this food. So like, there is a way, just have to be clever and be resourceful of what you have and what you can do with it. And someone said, how do you get invited to events and get noticed by brands? I think it's very important for you to use your hashtags. I know people think hashtags don't work, but they really do. I've asked so many companies when I've gone on brand trips, and I asked them, like, how did you guys find me? And they're like, well, we were looking through hashtags, through, you know, Dallas bloggers, and we found you through that hashtag. So use your hashtags, but also just make friendships. Again, like what I was talking about, community. Sometimes I get invited to things that my friends do and I get to invite them. Sometimes they get invited to things that I don't get invited to, and I get to go with them as a +1. So that's where community comes in. Again, make sure they're genuinely your friend and not just trying to use you for connections or like free invites to events. So how do you catch the attentions of your followers? Tips. And like I said, it's all about your content. If you are a stylist, give styling tips. Create cool pictures, but in your caption, give people styling tips. Tell them where you got your clothes from. Show them 5 ways that they can use the same shirt or the same blazer. You know, have information for people that they can take throughout their week and use it. There's no trick, really. Just be organized about your content, and you know, if fall is coming up, try to go to the pumpkin patch so you can have some fall content, and whatever it is that you want to talk about, take the pictures for it so you can later on post about it and create your captions and create whatever it is that you are wanting to talk about on your blog or your brand. Just moral of the story, my tips for like being successful is like, truly be nice to everyone. Treat it as a business. Treat your brand as a business, your blog as a business. Strategizing and knowing that you do have to brainstorm and like keep on reinventing yourself in order to grow, but also be very aware of your audience and their needs, you know, because those are your customers. You know, those are the people that are going to support you, follow you, buy the products you post about, buy your own products that you might make up in the process. So just be very mindful of that you're always taking care of them. It's not very black and white. It's just like, sometimes, you know, you can go viral and make millions. Sometimes you put in all this hard work and it doesn't work, and you have to reevaluate yourself and ask yourself why it's not working. But just remember, like, most importantly, try to have something outside of blogging. Have blogging be your platform, and have other goals and dreams that you are trying to make thrive outside of this world, because I feel like it will end one of these days, and I hope everyone will be able to sustain themselves without having a blog, without Instagram. And if you can do that, then I think you are very successful. I'm like, I did this whole blogging video and I'm like, but guys, at the end of the day, just do a YouTube channel. That's where you'll make your money. And honestly, that's why I am doing my YouTube channel, because I feel like one day that is where you'll just be making money. And maybe Instagram will die, maybe it won't, but if it does, I have my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment any other questions, I will definitely answer them. Wrapping up this video, I hope you learned something. I hope you take this advice and do something with it, because I did not sit here for 3 hours for you not to do anything with this information. So yep, that's it. I'll see you guys next time.